This Gatlinburg City Commission meeting on June 2, 2020 will take place in accordance with Governor Bill Lee's Executive Orders 16 and 34, which addresses open meetings and allows flexibility for local governments to conduct essential business amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. The Gatlinburg City Commission has determined that meeting electronically and prohibiting the physical presence of the public at the meeting is necessary to protect public health, safety, and welfare of all concerned, considering COVID-19. So as a result of our electronic meeting, I will now take a roll call of attendance. Mayor Mike Warner.
Here.
Vice Mayor Mark McCowan.
Here.
Commissioner Ryan Desir.
Here.
Commissioner Chad Reagan.
Here.
And Commissioner Don Smith.
Here.
And with that, Mayor, I will turn it over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and item A is the prayer. And Ryan Desir, would you please lead us in prayer?
Sure. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come together tonight in fellowship and to do good business for the great city of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And we just ask for your continued wisdom to allow us to do the right thing as always. And we thank you very much for the business that we are seeing in the time of this great pandemic. We're very grateful for it, and keep leading us with the correct judgment that we need. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Good job, Rod. Thank you.
Thanks.
Item B, election of mayor, and I'll open the floor for nominations.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Mike Warner. I think you're a great communicator, and I think you represent the commission very well.
Thank you, sir. And do we have a second to that?
Second.
Any other nominations? Okay, Cindy, will you please call roll for the vote?
Yes, sir. Mayor Mike Warner.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Mark McCowan.
Aye.
Commissioner Ryan Desir.
Aye.
Commissioner Chad Reagan.
Aye.
Commissioner Don Smith.
Aye.
It is unanimous.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Item C, election of vice mayor. Do I hear any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Mark McCown for that position.
And do I hear a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Okay. Any other
I was
nominations?
I apologize. I was muted, but I was seconding as well. So you're well seconded, Mark.
Sorry for the delay.
Okay. And any other nominations? Cindy, would you call roll for the vote, please?
Mayor Mike Warner.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Mark McCowan.
Aye.
Commissioner Desir.
Aye.
Commissioner Reagan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Another unanimous vote.
All right.
Congratulations, Mark.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good job.
Okay. All right. Very good. Item 2, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting in May 19th, 2020. Do I hear a motion?
So
Motion.
moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay. Cindy, would you call roll, please?
Mayor Mike Warner.
Aye.
Vice Mayor McCowan.
Aye.
Commissioner Desir.
Aye.
Commissioner Reagan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item 3, new business. A, discussion and consideration of approving a contract with RB Park Vista LLC, doing business as the Park Vista Hotel related to trolley service. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And could we have some discussion on this, please?
Yes, sir. So before you is the contract, along with the memorandum from the finance director. The present agreement for this trolley service to Park Vista Hotel does expire in a couple of days. Robert has had a conversation with their general manager, Jacqueline Schaefer, and they do want to renew for another year. The proposed amount, so that's the term, it's a 1 year. The proposed payment would be $550 per month for the months of April through November, and $300 per month for the months of December through March. This represents a yearly charge of $5,600. So this is a 50% reduction from the previous year, the immediate prior year, and actually a 75% reduction from the original yearly amount. So that is the overview of the agreement.
Okay.
I got one question.
Yes, sir.
The $550 per month that they're charging, is that the same thing we're charging for Greenbrier out in Pittman Center?
The answer is what? Yeah, that one was 500. And by the way, that agreement was not on the agenda for this evening's meeting because we have not resumed service out that far.
Right.
So
I just didn't know if they matched up per month and what we're charging them to be relevant to what we're charging Park Vista being in the city of Gatlinburg while they were outside the city. So that was my concern. I know there's a steepness of grade and there's
right.
justify that extra $50. I just wanted to ask the question.
Right.
Cindy, I had one quick question too. I'm glad that their rate got reduced. It's a net benefit to get as many people downtown as possible. Will this be impacted by our reduced trolley service right now, or will there be any change in how often they get picked up or anything, or are trolleys going to resume at some point at normal service?
The trolley has resumed going to the Park Vista Hotel.
Okay.
As it relates to moving back into the full trolley operation. We're kind of tracking that
Sure.
on a daily basis to see when we think that it makes sense to do that. You know, one of the, and I know all you guys understand this, that one of the factors with the trolley operation is that we have to limit the ridership.
Yeah.
So basically, it's pretty much, isn't it, Larry Henderson, limited to like 12 per trolley. So in other words, 50% ridership. And so I think that as perhaps we're able to increase the ridership, that we can be about trying to move back into regular full operation. Now, as it relates to does it impact, I don't know. I'm looking at Robert. I'm looking at Larry Henderson. As it relates to today, does it impact the number of trips to the Park Vista? I'm not sure. Do either of you know?
And that's okay. I don't
Yeah.
need that answer. I was just making sure that they're getting their service if they're going to pay for it, essentially, is why I was asking. So, because I knew we were on reduced routes and things like that, but it sounds like, yes, they're getting service. Going to be less people on each trolley. We're monitoring it to get people back to normal service is what I'm getting. So that's fine. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Ryan. Any further discussion? Cindy, would you call roll, please?
Mayor Mike Werner,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McCowan,
Aye.
Commissioner Desir,
Aye.
Commissioner Reagan,
Aye.
Commissioner Don Smith.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Item D, discussion and consideration of approving an annual billing contract with American Medical Billing. I hear a motion.
Motion.
Second.
And can we have discussion on this, please?
Yes, sir. The fire chief is here with us this evening, but let me give you an overview, and then Chief Cole can add other information as needed. So we have been doing business with this company for quite a few years. This was a proposed 3-year renewal at a billing rate of 4.95% of the collections. The important thing also to note about this agreement is that with the renewal, they have agreed to supply the fire department with new computer hardware and software that's valued at $23,000, and that would come along with complimentary training. And with that, Chief Cole, I'll see if you have any other comments to make about the agreement.
Just what I would like to add is that the equipment that we have now is over 3 years old, and it's basically out of date, and there's some new software with the new computers that we can install on, and it will help, as well as the computer that we are getting from them. They're more rugged. They're the Panasonic Toughbook computers, and there's 5 of them, where before we just had 3 in the initial contract.
All right.
I would definitely say this: if they're not raising our prices and they're giving us free stuff, why in the world would we argue with them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure if we keep talking, Chad, we can come up with a reason to keep arguing like any politician would. But you better call for the vote. That's
Cindy,
all.
would you call roll, please?
Yes. Mayor Mike Warner,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McCowan, Commissioner Desir,
Aye.
Commissioner Reagan,
Aye.
and Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Item 6, ordinance number 2548, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2538, the caption of which is an ordinance making and fixing the annual appropriation for the several departments of the city for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2019 and ending June 30th, 2020, and to carry forward appropriations for prior year encumbrances. This is the first reading. Do I hear a motion?
So
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
If you would like some, there was of course, the ordinance is in your agenda package. There's a memorandum in there from Finance Director Robert Holt. This is commonly referred to as the year-end transfer ordinance. So to be clear, this ordinance is dealing with this present budget cycle fiscal year that we're in that does not end until June 30. And there's a whole series of things. This is, I believe that I would be fair in saying that just about every year there are year-end transfers that occur just due to the fact that there's a lot that goes on in city budget. The good news is that certainly the monies are there to cover this. Robert does a good job in his memo of basically outlining the changes, the transfers that are needed, and identifying the sources of revenue to cover those. And with that, we'll answer any questions that you all might have.
Robert Holt did a good job on explanation of everything.
Yeah, I thought so too, Robert. Well done. I mean, you covered everything, and it's nice to see the new field up at Gatlinburg Pittman, which is part of this. So it's looking really good.
Any further? Cindy, would you call roll, please?
Mayor Mike Warner,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McCowan,
Aye.
Commissioner Desir,
Aye.
Commissioner Reagan,
Aye.
and Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Item D, ordinance number 2546, appropriating an amount sufficient to cover the necessary expenses of the various departments, offices, and boards of the city pending final passage of the annual appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year 2020 through 2021. This is the first reading. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Second.
And Cindy, you want to have some discussion?
Yeah, well, yes, sir. Just very briefly to say that this is commonly referred to as the interim budget ordinance. This does relate to the new fiscal year that we will be entering July 1. However, as you gentlemen know, the way that our charter is set up, we don't present the budget to you until around, I think it's July 20 is the definite date, but or the deadline date, I guess, I want to say that. So, and then you get the budget presented to you. You have until the 1st of September to approve that. So basically, this is the interim budget order to cover the necessary expenses of the city for the period of July and August.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. Any further discussion? Cindy, would you call roll, please?
Mayor Warner,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McCowan,
Aye.
Commissioner Desir,
Aye.
Commissioner Reagan,
Aye.
and Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Item E, ordinance number 2549, closing a portion of a former public right-of-way located within the city and being a former portion of Tidwell Drive. This is the first reading, passed by Commission 5/21/2020. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. And Cindy, can we have discussion on this one?
Yes, I've asked David Ball to come back up here to actually, David, I think you need to carry this one.
Yes. So the request is to abandon Tidwell Drive right-of-way. Recent sale and purchase of property has resulted in a single ownership surrounding that right-of-way area. So the right-of-way doesn't actually serve any other properties but the applicant's property. So they have asked to consolidate that into the private property. This was reviewed and approved by Planning Commission at their May 21st meeting as a re-subdivision of the property and to incorporate the right-of-way if the commission so approves to abandon that portion. It's about a 4,183 square foot area, so it's a very small right-of-way. It's about 150 feet in length and about 25 feet in width. So it's not a lot of area that they're requesting.
So
I do have a question real quick. Those were two houses that had access from that right of way, correct? And this individual bought them both?
Yes, all the property that surrounds this right of way is under a single ownership.
Okay, well, my thing is this. Will we record something that says that they cannot resell individual lot, that it has to be sold as a whole going forward? Because what happens if they turn around and try to sell another lot on the back side or the front side?
Well, the subdivision that occurred at Planning Commission consolidated the properties into one single lot. So in order for them to sell a separate lot, they would have to go back through the process of a review by Planning Commission.
Gotcha. Perfect. That's all that
Yep.
that's all, as long as they have to go back through that approval process, I'm good with it.
All right.
And if excuse me, Mayor, if I could add that
Sure.
this will, as you can tell by this item and the previous two, these will all require a second reading. And in the case of the item we're on right now, there will be a public hearing. There's a public hearing requirement as well. So David will will if you pass tonight on first reading, he will get in the paper today, tomorrow, not today, but tomorrow, the next day, very soon, a notice of the public hearing that would occur at the June 16 meeting.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. Any further discussion? Cindy, would you call roll, please?
Mayor Mike Werner,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McCowan,
Aye.
Commissioner Desir,
Aye.
Commissioner Reagan,
Aye.
and Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Before adjournment, I'd just like to thank everyone for your vote of confidence, and I will work hard to do a good job, and congratulations to you, Mark, and you do a good job also.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, commissioners.
Good job, guys. Well done.
Okay.
Thanks. And as for a motion to adjourn,
Motion.
Second.
we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
See
Thank
y'all
you.
soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate your hard work. Thank you.
Thanks.